Hey everybody, it's us again. We're gonna do a little painting tonight. We're gonna act a little tree. Joining me today is Obsolete 2003.
Yo.
Ringleader.
I got bitches on my dick!
Valkyrie.
Okay, we're cutting that out.
Grinder.
We're fucking cutting that out. What the hell is that?
He has bitches on his dick. What are you talking about? Anyway, Valkyrie Grinder.
Happy places?
Wait, are we really cutting that? Or?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with, having bitches on your dick.
Oh,
Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Is this in?
I don't know. What the fuck? I mean, Jesus Christ, Ring.
That disrupt the flow.
Alright, I'm gonna fucking... I'll start again. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast.
You know he's gonna start with his dick shit again. You might as well just keep
Jesus,
going.
man, why do you gotta bring that kind of stuff into the podcast? We're having a nice conversation.
I know, right? We're trying to have a wholesome Christian conversation here.
You...
Alright.
I'm not cutting the... I'm not cutting the...
Cut it all out, start from here. 1, 2, shoot it. Hey, welcome to the podcast. It's me, Nicholas Zombie, cousin to America's favorite gamer. And who's America's favorite gamer, you ask? Obsolete 2003 joining us. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well, going well. Who else do we have? Valkyrie Grinder.
Hello.
Also, Espionage DB7. Espionage DB7.
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. Thank you. It's a podcast, audio content. And now, to ruin the flow, Ring the motherfucking leader.
And we are here just to have good family-oriented Christian conversations, not mentioning edicts, unlike Espionage DB7.
Okay, that's it. The first part is staying in because of that. The first part is fucking staying in.
I see how we do this, folks.
The first part's staying in, and it's gonna go in, and it's gonna be preserved in the Library of Congress. Wow.
Okay.
Anyway, if we're off of the dick chat,
I had like multiple intros for this. God damn. I went for a
SB.
Bob Ross thing.
yes.
I went for like.
Get off your pony and join the crowd.
What the fuck?
I mean, she's right though. She's right.
I don't have a pony.
I mean, we're just trying to have wholesome conversations. You're just throwing off saying you're going to delete the entire intro just because it didn't meet your grotesque taste of standards.
No, my standard of quality. Okay, here at Odds and Ends Gaming, we like to present a fun, family-oriented environment that is
When have we
suitable
ever?
We haven't right at all.
See, basically, this is something that you and your family can enjoy with your kids, and here we are. Obviously,
We're playing Uno on the channel. How is that wholesome and friendly we're playing games?
Have a mature audience
Yes.
going to an adult audience.
Why do you think I mark all of these
I
I
know
made
it's not
as
for kids.
not for
This is
children?
not for kids.
I
You
know.
cannot say that.
Mm-mm.
This is a post of fucking YouTube world. We are not for children. Are you a child listening to this right now? Fuck out of here.
We're not trying to buy like Papa.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, but stay if you're not a cock.
if you're not a cock, what the?
If you're a cop, get out of here too.
I
Goddamn.
said cock.
Bitches.
Like
Cock! I thought you said if you're not a cock. I was like, what?
That was about NWA
Okay,
over here.
look,
Fuck the police.
You and your pony riding fallacy mind need to chill the
No, I wasn't the one that brought it all up. It was like straight away
This
into the...
podcast has gone off the rails.
I don't think it was ever on the rails. It was the Zeppelin. It was just like we
The Hindenburg?
took off.
It's the
Yeah, there you
fucking
go.
Crazy train.
We left the station and immediately caught fire.
Yeah.
Like the sub in freaking Subnautica, where we didn't even leave the station and we blew it up.
Subnautica.
Or the other game, the
Are you
deep,
calling it Subnautica?
the deep or the depth, or not even that one. The one that we play with the submarines. You know the.
Those are entirely different games.
What was the game that we played with the submarines? I don't remember the name.
Baratoma or whatever.
Yeah,
Something.
Baranoma. No, this sounds like a disease.
Oh my god.
Anyway, There are things that must be spoken of and things we must discuss. Can we move on to those things?
This is all just the intro. This is all just the intro.
Robocop's in Mortal Kombat.
This is a thing.
I
Does
saw
anyone
that.
have Mortal Kombat?
Is it DLC or the new Mortal Kombat game coming out?
It's the
It's DLC. It's an expansion to the story.
Afterlife.
Not just characters, but actually expansion to the story.
So I actually, being a super like Robocop fan, like Robocop is probably my all-time favorite movie character, and like Robocop.
Weren't you bitching about it like the other week though? Robocop! It didn't sound like him! He's all messed up!
You only said one thing though.
Should I get to it?
Sure.
I mean, I was going to say exactly that. My initial response.
Did that turn a voice?
Yes,
Yes.
I was going to say that when I saw it, I said, "Oh my God, it doesn't even sound like it."
I mean, you did. You did. I'm not saying you were wrong in this part of this conversation here.
God, I can't get the fucking. Let me get the rocket off of the ground here. We're still in mission control. We need to break atmosphere and actually
I was
get it.
thinking of that scene of the Big Lebowski when the Big Lebowski's telling the dude about the thing crashed or whatever. It's like it blew up. But continue.
This is like all over the place. Anyway, I was going to say yes when I first. My initial reaction to the trailer, and I will link it in the description, was, wow, this is crap. My first thoughts were, that guy, I literally said this, that guy sounds nothing like Robocop. This was before I realized that was actually Peter Weller. Like, he did not, to me, sound like Robocop. To me, it sounded like a nasally teen or something. I was like, wow, that person didn't even sound like Robocop. And my second thought was, this is just going to be a further bastardization of a franchise that I love, that has already been, bastardized a bit. I was thinking they're going to put him in a game full of people who are fucking super powered, and Robocop, as much as I like him, he's not a super powered character. He's basically a tank on legs. But I mean, shit, you're not gonna put him against people with mystic fucking powers, and he's gonna really hold his own. That was my thought. I was like, this is what they're gonna do. Is they're gonna give him all kinds of bullshit. They're gonna have him flying around doing kicks and shit like that. And I was like, it's just gonna be stupid. And I was completely against it. Not that I play a lot of Mortal Kombat. I did play the last one, or I think it's the last one, Mortal Kombat 10, the one that was on the PS3. I did play and actually beat that one, and I enjoyed it. But I'm not huge into the Mortal Kombat universe. So that first teaser trailer, I was like, this looks stupid. But then as of today, just today, I watched the next trailer, the gameplay trailer, that actually had some Robocop gameplay. And I'm gonna say that even though I think I'm against the idea of Robocop being in a Mortal Kombat game, it looks like they are handling it right, because he moves kind of clunkily. He seems like he doesn't seem to run. He kind of walks slow the way Robocop does. And his abilities that I've seen seem to be things that are in the realm of what Robocop would actually do. He actually has...
If I can piggyback real quick, I'm sorry if you're going to say I cut you off, but I saw one of the special hits where he has the giant gun from the first Robocop movie, the original Robocop
the Cobra
movie.
attack cannon. The Cobra assault cannon, yes. State of the art, bang bang. So yeah,
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. So I saw that, I was like, you know what? He has.
You mean the Autumn 9?
No. In RoboCop, the first RoboCop, Clarence Boddicker and his gang are sent to kill RoboCop, and they're given by fucking what's his name? Dick Jones. They're given these high-powered rifles that are explosive. And basically anything they shoot blows up. And they call them the Cobra assault cannons. And those are what they go after RoboCop with. And then eventually RoboCop gets a hold of one of them. And you see him use one of those in the game. I was like, holy shit, they're actually using stuff that I think RoboCop would use. At one point, he has the flamethrower from RoboCop 3. Did you see that, Albs? The flamethrower hand?
I did not, but that's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, the flamethrower hand is something that he used in the movies. RoboCop 3, he obviously has that attachment that gives him an auto rifle and a flamethrower on his hand and a missile launcher. He moves slowly. I did see him jump like once in that, but he used like a rocket assisted jump, which is kind of like what you'd expect. You know, if he is gonna jump, he's not gonna just fly around. He's gonna need something to lift him off the air. So I was like, they might be doing this right. They actually, his design appears, you know, his design is same to the original. It's Peter Weller again, and like I said, the first thing, but obviously it's just a quick little line that he says, and to me it didn't sound like Peter Weller at first. I was like, who the hell is that? But when I went back and listened to it, I could tell that it was him. I'm just hoping he's not just phoning in the performance. But I was looking and I was like, this might actually be good. And it made me start thinking, just for the RoboCop parts, I'm tempted to fucking buy it because I do love RoboCop. You know, my 3 favorite characters in all of gaming, cinema, or film are for gaming, it's Gordon Freeman. For film, it's RoboCop. And for comics, it's Captain America. Like those 3, I'm a huge fanatic of those characters. So seeing RoboCop and seeing him done right, which at least from what I'm seeing, he seemed like it was being done right. It changed my opinion. From the first to the second trailer, I definitely changed my tune. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool, especially I'm seeing one of the teaser things. I wasn't sure if it was like a fatality or just one of like the super moves where he pulled out the little spike in his fist and like he like stabbed it through like their midsection or something like that. It's like that's pretty damn cool.
There's a part where he summons Ed 209 as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, like at least in the trailer I saw today, like he's shooting. And then you see like a pan up from the ground, and it's the big foot of Ed 209. And at first I thought it was gonna like come attack him, but no, it's coming up behind him, like to assist him, and it just unloads on his opponent. So it's like he has like a way, I guess, of summoning or something. Ed 209, and Ed 209 is one of the coolest design things ever. I mean, that thing is just so fucking cool.
I don't know. That's pretty cool. And it's been a while since I've touched a Mortal Kombat game, but yeah, RoboCop's he's a badass. It's almost similar to you, just especially the original RoboCop, the super violent one. I was like, this dude's a badass. So it's fitting, I guess, to be a Mortal Kombat where it's violent and gory and all that. So I'm curious about its fatalities.
Anyone else got something to add to that subject before I go off on something a little different?
I was gonna say I haven't bought in Mortal Kombat 11 because every other Mortal Kombat for the longest time was like, out, here's the DLC, here's the complete edition. And it was just kind of annoying. Like if 10.
Yeah.
11's been seeming like they're actually not just doing the standard, alright, here's the first batch of characters and second batch of characters, like expansion to the story kind of makes me feel like, maybe I'll get it. And it's been on sale multiple times, so. I haven't got Mortal Kombat since 9.
I haven't played Mortal Kombat since 3. So
Jesus, man, how old are you?
no, I did play the Justice League one. I forget what it's called.
Injustice.
Injustice. I did like that. I didn't care. I just didn't have the energy to care for the second one. But the first one, though, I thought it was pretty decent. I had fun playing Joker. Though I heard that Joker is one of the more difficult characters to play. But that was years ago.
Mortal Kombat is really fucking branched out to all kinds of franchises. I mean, they got the Terminator in there, they got the DC Universe in there.
Ninja Turtles!
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
That was Injustice, but yeah.
Oh, Ninja Turtles. Yeah, that's right.
I wanted to get Injustice 2 because Hellboy was in it.
Oh, really?
I didn't do it. I don't know why. I just never made a leap.
Okay, so let me interrupt you here about that.
But Hellboy?
Hellboy being great, but I've actually seen him in Injustice, like his actions, like his moves and stuff. What's that villain in Aquaman? The
Manta,
Mandarin?
Black Manta.
Yeah. him going up against Hellboy. Hellboy didn't have anything exciting in Injustice. Like, nothing about Hellboy was worth that fight. Like, I felt like his character, because you know how great Hellboy is, like in the comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a waste. Like they could have done so much with that character in Injustice, and that it was just a waste.
Ron Perlman, was it Hellboy's best boy? Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
love Ron Perlman.
because I know those.
I mean, there's only
series.
been the Ron Perlman movies. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, there was also the one that just came out.
been the Ron Perlman movie.
I was gonna say because there was a new one that apparently got.
There has only been.
Perhaps in your head canon, but we all know we cannot deny that there was another one, and I don't know anything about.
We don't
Hellboy.
speak of that one.
We don't speak of that one.
So everybody here's a Hellboy fan.
We're a fan of the Ron Perlman Hellboy. In fact, he was up for doing another film as Hellboy.
Literally asking for it.
Yes. And for some fucking reason, the cuts that did the new movie were like, no, we're not going to do it, because even though he's a popular choice, we're going to go ahead and just go a different direction.
Well,
trash the story, trash
tell you
the
what it
character.
is. That's Hollywood bastardizing things, putting their own spin on things that they think need to be improved. And this is a perfect time to bring this up. I've talked to Obs about this, and I'm like, why the fuck does Hollywood feel the need to create these perversions, these bastardizations of beloved, already well-established characters or franchises? I mean, look at I love the first two Alien films. I absolutely adore them. I'm gonna be honest. I actually did not get around to watching Aliens until just a couple of years ago. It was fairly recently. But when I saw it, it immediately shot to like the top of my list for favorite movies. I love Aliens, or Alien 2, Aliens, whatever you want to call it. The third one didn't really do it for me. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't really do it for me. Prometheus and Covenant, I have not seen them myself, but I have seen enough about them and have read enough reviews and seen enough things to realize that I don't want to watch them. And it seems like they insert all these additional political agendas and all this additional fucking fluff content that has nothing to do with the original stories or anything to do with the things that made the original films great. Another one is Terminator. Look what's been done to Terminator. In Terminator Genesis, it pissed me off that John Connor, which was the central character of like the first three films, it's like he's basically the Messiah. We have to protect him because he is going to save the world one day. First three movies, it's like we have to first one have to protect the mother of the Messiah. Second one have to protect the Messiah itself. Third one have to protect the Messiah and his wife. It's like it's established. These are these characters that we cannot let anything happen. Salvation, I don't even remember what the fuck happened. I saw that movie once and it's not even memorable.
I really like Salvation.
I don't know.
Real quick.
You know what my favorite part of Salvation was when Alice in Chains played out of that car. That was about it.
So AVP was trash, by the way. Like, in my opinion, the whole film was just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
What movie? Which movie?
Alien vs. Predator?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one. The first one was... At least you could watch it. The second one was Jesus.
Nope.
It was just darkness. You couldn't even see anything.
Yeah.
Like physically, you could watch the first one. You couldn't even watch the second.
So here's my thing about it, and it's not necessarily Hollywood bastard or anything, but I think it's just like the ones who did it had just no idea what to do with it.
I think Hollywood's running out of ideas, and they're just.
So with Alien vs. Predator, we had such a great build-up with the second Predator film back in the 80s. Especially when it came to the scene where what's his face? It's in the ship. Danny Glover's in the ship, and you see the trophy rack, and you see the alien skull.
That started everything.
Yeah, that was the world building right there. They're not directly shown per se. They're not mentioned, but you see the evidence that they exist in the same universe.
They don't know how to build tension anymore.
Hold on, let me finish. Then you saw all the games, all the merchandising that came out afterwards, right? The beat 'em up Alien vs. Predator game in the arcade was pretty fun. The Alien vs. Predator 2000 was fucking god tier, okay? Because you had all three races. You had the Colonial Marines, aliens only had the melee abilities, and then the Predators. But it was an earlier game, but it holds weight if you are truly invested in the series. But then you have recently Colonial Marines, the newer Alien vs. Predator game, and then the new movies. It's just like, did they just lose sight of what exactly is happening here, or was just James Cameron that fucking good?
James Cameron's pretty fucking good.
He is, and whoever else has it after that just doesn't know how to orchestrate the horror, the terror. Because remember, horror and terror are two different things.
You're absolutely right about that. And go ahead.
They just can't. They can't construct either concept correctly in the newer films. Like, okay, let's back up a second. Alien, right? That was pure horror.
And the alien got like 3 minutes of screen time throughout the whole movie.
Right, because it was just hold on, let me finish. There was the suspense of having it in the ship. They had no idea, and then they slowly figure it out. And at a certain point, Breastside got his chest, and that's fucking it. Aliens, you see these things take out a fully equipped Marine unit, right? Which then comes to last minute death survival, which then they detonate the colony and stuff like that. Now, Alien 3 has kind of in a way reverts back to the original film, because it's not about a swarm of aliens. There's no Marine in it. It's just the horror and the terror of this creature running around. There's this prison crew that doesn't know what the fuck's going on, so she has to deal with them and on top of the alien at the same time. You have murderers, rapers, stuff like that. I also enjoy the original Alien movies. There's one other thing that's often missed: character development. We see what's her face? Damn it,
Sigourney
Ripley?
Ripley. Yeah. Well, Weaver. You see her start as a purely feminine character, right? And then the events of the first movie go through. But when the second movie comes out, she starts to have that grunge feel, like she becomes more of the boys per se, in order to fill in the persona of what being around the Marines, especially Vasquez. And when it gets to the third film, she just doesn't give a shit. Like she shaves her head, she doesn't care. She transforms.
Newt died basically, and that's like she had this thing.
Which is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Newt ended up drowning in her pod along with
Which that was the stupidest shit ever.
It was hips.
Yeah.
But it happened for a reason. That was just part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying though is there's a theme missing in recent films. I said it before. I'm saying it again. Star Wars, other Star Wars films, especially Star Wars as a prime example. There seems to be a critical lack of character development in more recent films in the past 6 to 7 years.
Characters go through a journey throughout the duration of the film that makes them who they are. Nowadays, it's easier to just narrate and exposit the fucking whole beginning of the movie. You'll notice that a lot more films start with narration than they used to, and they'll just tell you the whole character's backstory. We join now, Jonathan Steele, the most badass character in the military, and he's going on what could be his last mission or something.
Now, in the comparison, right? Luke, as an example, and the film in general, was just set by a screen crawl, and it doesn't say much. It doesn't give you an idea. It lets the movie tell the rest of the story, and especially in the terms of both Han and Luke, right? Because Han at first was kind of an asshole in the first movie he hit, right? He was a dick. Luke was a typical 19-year-old. He just, he was selfish. He, was just looking out for excitement, stuff like that, right? Then the events of the first movie went through, and they changed by the time the second film has come through. Luke is more experienced. He's not so reckless. Han is more caring. He cares about Leia and Luke, right? And then by the third film,
Makes out with his sister.
yeah. But to be fair, he didn't know it was a sister at that point. But Luke has fully matured. His abilities have come forward He just has just enough to potentially be Vader. Han, on the other hand, has full-fledged become a caring person. His softer side, which had disappeared because of the events of Han Solo, or Solo, right? Which made him cold. He warmed back up because of Luke and Leia at the same time.
Can I say that one of my all-time favorites to this day scenes in The Empire Strikes Back, and it's probably a scene that not too many people even really think about, but to me, I always like, if I'm watching The Empire Strikes Back, I'll have to pause, rewind, and just watch it again just because I'm like, man, that's fucking badass. The scene where they open the door, or the door on Cloud City slides open, and Vader's there. Like, fucking Han does not hesitate. He immediately just busts out the blaster and just starts shooting. Obviously, it doesn't do anything because you're messing with Vader, but I love the fact that he looked at it. You see the shock on his face for a split second, but there's no hesitation. He immediately just pulls out the blaster and like, I'm gonna just fucking blast this guy. And I love that scene. To me, that's just an awesome scene to me.
And I thought that was fantastic too. I mean, it's like that shock, but even though he knows what's there, what he can do, he's still gonna do it. He's still gonna go.
And he's not gonna give. If he can take the guy out by surprise, he's gonna try to do it. So yeah, it's like no hesitation, just immediate, like fucking gun come in, blasters blazing, pretty much.
Right. And he tries, and it just shows. It's just an example of how powerful Vader is, because he took out someone out in the Cantina in the first film, and had dead accuracy throughout the movie so far, right? And then here's Vader, like, yep, you can hit me, but you ain't gonna do shit. I'm just that fucking powerful. That's just to be a touch. And of course, we see the full power in Road One at the end when the Leia gets away in the Tanaport, and he is there when he gets away. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck these guards up in the meantime.
Yeah, that's the thing, that the characters don't go through that journey that forges them and makes them to who they are anymore. It's like they just, and that's another thing. And I'm gonna say this, and believe me when I say, how can I word this? I am not against. If anything, I love to see powerful women in film. But the way that they have been portraying it as of late, I think is counterintuitive to what they're trying to do. As of late, what they do is they force it. It feels very, very forced in a lot of the movies lately, where you have like these girl power moments. If you look at characters like Ripley and Sarah Connor, and even in a much more recent example, the Wonder Woman film, I thought that was great. I thought that was a very, empowering film for women. It's like, it doesn't feel forced. It's like, it's not, here's a character who her primary trait is she's a woman. No, here's a female character who has so-and-so trait, so-and-so trait, so-and-so trait. It's not putting emphasis on the fact that she's a woman. It's the fact that I'm a badass and I just happen to be a woman. And I think Hollywood does that so much nowadays. They shoehorned it in the Avengers thing, and it was kind of, I know that there's a lot of people that said that they just kind of rolled their eyes at that moment, and I've seen it done.
It was very forced.
Yeah, if when they do it that way, that it feels forced, it's so obvious that it's counterintuitive, and like I said, it makes people roll their eyes. Whereas if it was something that had just happened organically and naturally, and they didn't fucking shove it in your face, I think people would have been like, man, that was badass. Did you happen to notice that at that particular scene it was all the women? Viewers are, I want to say, smarter than Hollywood I think gives them credit for. I think Hollywood nowadays feels like they have to grab their hand and take them through everything, which makes for a pretty shitty film in my opinion. But and like Val said earlier, they're running out of ideas. And you know what? It's not even so much that they're running out of ideas, they just aren't willing to take risks anymore. They're not willing to take risks on something like a new character or a new idea that has no established characters, no established stories, nothing grounded that already exists in some form of media, be it a book, be it a show, be it a comic. They have to have something that's already established, that already has fans behind it, so they can make it and at least know that they'll have some money. And they're not willing to take risks anymore. Whereas back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, it was all about like, we need to create some characters that are compelling, and what about this, what about a hotshot renegade who does loose cannon, and all these other types of characters that now have been done to death, and they just don't have any ideas anymore. And it's
There's also a lot of drugs back then.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
well,
I think it's also to do with the culture involved, because in the current day of the social media and the internet, yeah, like Twitter especially, that's a cancer playground. It also is right into some extent 4chan. There's this whole cancel culture. You may have heard of that phrase, where where one little voice suddenly has this snowballs because there's something they just don't like because it personally offends them. Here's the thing: film and movies are a form of art. They will not suit everyone's taste. There are some times where it does hit barely out of the ballpark in terms of that, but most of the time, not everybody is there like everything. However, because of the way cancel culture works, you have a small portion of the internet, a fraction, even microscopic, has this problem with it because they say problematic, if you will, or phrasing or stuff like that, and they tend to target these the directors and actors and stuff like that, and it causes stifling of creativity in a sense on what can be done with a movie. And on the other scope of things, the stifling also can lead to, like you said, poor character development, because they just want to force something in that cannot be developed naturally, or cannot be brought about a certain way. Now, I'm going to catch some flack for this, but hear me out. I just saw something. Star Wars Episode 9, right? Whole movie was, it's whatever. You kind of just eye roll through half of it, right? Like, how did that happen? How did this happen? What the fuck? What is this? They can do this now? Apparently they couldn't do it before. What the fuck? And the one thing that kind of struck me as odd, because if it had been properly developed throughout the entire movie's film, then great, it was fine. Was this one little clip where in the end when they're celebrating, that there's two women kissing. Now, I'm not saying the act is wrong, not at all. I'm saying is, if you're going to do something like that, you need to develop the backstory so it at least exists. Because otherwise, you don't see it referenced at all within the Star Wars universe. You just don't. So it kind of it feels kind of forced in there, much like with Captain Marvel and what she can do and stuff like that. I know that the Finn Dameron thing was shipped pretty hardcore during Last Jedi because of how he looked at each other and stuff like that, which kind of threw some vibes. But the thing is, of any sort, which also we're kind of, and you're going to throw it into a universe that has not displayed it at all.
Hang on,
right?
Hang on. Is he breaking up for anybody but me? Because I hear him kind of going in and out.
I'm fine.
I hear him going in and out, and I hear you sometimes going in and out.
Ugh.
Okay, so what I'm basically saying is, unless if you do that, great, but have the proper setup for it to exist in the first place, or at least have some precedence.
I agree with you on that, and that goes exactly back to what I was saying earlier, how they make a character's defining trait. It's kind of like if you take a character who happens to be lesbian or bisexual or whatnot, right? Don't make that her defining trait. Just make it that she's a character that happens to be lesbian, bisexual, whatever, homosexual, whatever it is, and then she has other traits. Maybe she's quirky, maybe she's like techie and stuff like that.
Like the saying goes, your orientation is not a personality trait.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the fuck Hollywood does. It's like they focus on, okay, this person is gay. That's all we're gonna focus on, and that's so progressive because, man, look at this character. She's gay, she's homosexual, whatever. It's like, okay, fine, she is. Big deal. What is it about her? why should I like her as a character? What kind of
Yeah.
traits does she have? What kind of quirks does she have? What interests does she show? How can she help to resolve the conflict in the film or the show? Or how can she, pose complications? Like, is she kind of stubborn to where she doesn't listen to other people, and then that gets the crew in trouble, or whatever the show or whatever the premise is? Give me other traits. Don't just always make it about, oh, she's lesbian. That's the thing. It's like, what the fuck? There's more to her than that. Give her some depth. Give the character some depth. Him, her, whatever, whoever it is, give them more to them.
Now, I find this as a fine example of how to do it in this case, or with this fine example, if you will. Deadpool 2. When Deadpool visits the mansion, the school, right? And what's her face? The chick.
Super Sonic Teenage Warhead or something?
Yeah,
like that?
she's there, and she's with Yuki. I think it was her, Yuri.
Yeah.
She's there. There's obviously a heavily implied relationship, right? But guess what?
You didn't just say that she's her girlfriend.
Yeah, it basically does, yeah. But guess what? It's not the core focus. It's like, whatever. Like,
Yeah, no. I think they mentioned it, I was like, oh, good for you guys, and that's about it. They walked away from it.
that was a fine example. Like, unless it is a core function of the relationship, which is part of the movie, whatever it is, like, say, a bunch of independent films and other films like that, where, it's involved in it. Unless it's important, don't focus on it. Don't try to shoehorn it in. It's like, hey, you're here. Hey, by the way, hey, there's your girlfriend. Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, anyways, hey, about this. It didn't feel as forced.
Exactly.
And that is a fine example of how to go about it. That's why I witnessed. That's what I've seen.
And this is one of the few occasions where I fully agree with Ring. I agree in that aspect.
So one of us disagree just for, continuity's sake?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Oh, I feel like people, special people, I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I thought it's easier when S does it.
When
You wrong. You bad. That's about it. There we go.
All
All right then.
Controversy.
What else we got? Val, you've been awfully quiet, so has Obs.
So, Nintendo has been in a little bit of trouble lately.
I say, Val, hey, you've been awfully quiet, so has Obs, and Ring feels that as an invitation to start talking.
Yeah, it is. It's not going to talk. I'm going to talk. So, Nintendo has been in a little bit of trouble lately, which involving a company called GameVice. They make the WikiPad, which is a Android-based proprietary system, saying that the controllers that they have patented, Nintendo is violating that via some sort of Trade Commission Act of 1930, and are currently pursuing another lawsuit against Nintendo in order to stop them from selling Nintendo Switches, as well as to claim them for damages. They twice before, once in 2017, another one I think 2018. They dropped the 2017 case, and the 2018 one I think was appealed. And I think what I think about this is just that patent wars get pretty fucking stupid, because it does stifle creativity and development. Just because you have something from 80 years ago, honestly, you probably shouldn't have dominant control over that, that design, whatever it may be. Or, my favorite is where somebody tries to trademark a letter or a common word, right? In order to prevent somebody else from using that word. And if you use that word in a certain circumstance, then they can sue you for whatever reason. Copyright and all that.
I heard something once. I don't know how true it is because I never did any research on it. But is it true that Google tried to copyright images of the sky due to their Google Maps shit or something like that?
What?
Is there any truth to
What?
that? Yeah,
I didn't hear about that, but I wouldn't put it past them.
This was about 4 or 5 years ago. I remember hearing that there was Google that was trying to copyright either images of the sky or some shit like that because of the fact that with their Google Maps, they they had mapped the entire Earth, and they were like, you can't use. I get maybe pictures directly from Google Maps of the sky. I don't really know. That's something I had heard, but I don't know what credence there is to it.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
I don't see anything on here.
it was something that somebody told me. So
I think you had a fever dream.
it could have been. I have lots of those. Anyway.
Anyway, back to
Obs, Val?
Nintendo.
Oh wait, a lawsuit and claiming that Google had took the misappropriation of the Earth sky layer
Maybe that's what it was.
idea. But I think that didn't go anywhere though.
Okay,
That was like 2008, 2000.
That's-
Remember
yeah.
Google Stadia?
Did,
The
I-
did
answer
that ever
is
launch?
no.
Did that ever
No,
launch?
it did. It did. It launched and died.
Just like
The
the
problem-
Ouya or Ouya or whatever the hell that one was.
The problem with
Ouya was
Stadia.
funny.
The problem with Stadia is the connection was unreliable. You had to stream things all the time. The library was extremely limited, right? There was complications involving the hardware. It just there was a lot of things going against the Stadia from the get go.
There was no hardware. The hardware was your computer.
Yeah. No. Well. Okay, the
It
platform.
was basically it was basically just a platform.
Yeah.
It was like a console launch or anything.
And also, you have to remain connected at all times, and that was not a problem. But I think the library's limitation or how small it is was probably the biggest thing out of the whole deal.
Yeah, Stadia died. I think we all knew Stadia was gonna die.
You know,
Like
also
Google
died,
Glass. It was just,
you know, also died too soon. Dreamcast.
I mean, yeah.
That Dreamcast has some really awesome ideas that was put forth ahead of the other consoles.
You know, I was thinking about GameCube, and I was thinking about the handle.
Seaman.
Yeah.
That was Nintendo's first portable console.
Or I should
everybody.
say Seaman.
What are you talking about?
There was a
What the
game
fuck are you
on.
talking
There was a
about?
game on the Dreamcast
You having a
called,
fever dream?
Seaman. It was
This is
basically.
all a fever dream.
It was basically.
Isn't
You
A
would
fish,
raise.
dude.
Yeah, you'd raise like this little fish thing, and the game was narrated by Leonard Nimoy, and you'd raise.
I
The
remember like
memes?
Yes, the Nimoy. And you'd raise this thing, and you could talk to it. You know that the controller had an add-on for a microphone, and you could actually talk, and it would respond. It was like some of the earliest.
And it had a
examples
face of a human and a weird tentacle thing on top.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
yeah,
And it would
was
literally,
weird.
and this is not a lie, it would have sex while on
What the
screen.
fuck?
Like it would mate, and it would actually draw your attention to it. It would say like, "Hey, look what we're doing," and they'd be mating, and it would call you to look at it. Like I've seen plenty of videos of
Fuck.
it. It's serious. It's a game. Look it up, Seaman.
Bell Obs, we need you, please.
Okay, they're not here, I guess.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy was the English version.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just
Gr-
listening.
Literally, real quick,
Well, you're
Seaman.
supposed to
It's a fucking
interject
trip.
as well, you know.
I had the Dreamcast. I do not recall that game, nor do I want to recall that game. I remember Crazy Taxi and the Simpsons Hit and Run. Those were fun
Good
games.
games.
Yeah,
I love Simpsons Hit and Run.
That was on
Yeah.
That's
Dreamcast?
such a great game.
That was on Dreamcast, really? I remember it being on PS2.
I want to say it was on Dreamcast because Dreamcast had Crazy Taxi, and then maybe on
Yeah.
the PS2 they came out with the Hit and Run, which is basically the same game. But the Dreamcast was cool because I remember playing Resident Evil on it, and then for the little memory card thing, they had the heart meter on the memory card, which is on a visual thing on the controller. I thought that was a super cool
Oh, like
feature.
y'all are
Oh,
cracking
yeah,
up.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember that.
But yes, rest in peace, Dreamcast. I thought it died ahead of its time. I thought the graphics were pretty awesome for what it was. I thought it was very competitive for the PS2 and the 64. It's just, yeah.
Apparently, the Dreamcast was also the first console to have a built-in modular modem for internet and online services. So the Dreamcast was way ahead of the curve.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, probably didn't do much.
It
but
was
still,
a
it's fucking
good,
crazy.
a good send-off console for Sega. That's their last
Oh
console.
yeah.
And it was a good send-off.
I mean, Sega's doing okay. They had the Sonic movie.
Yeah, they're
They
doing
just helped publish Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah,
They're still there.
Yeah, but that was their last console. And I'm saying as far as consoles go, it's a good one as far as like a send off. That was their departure from the console game.
I wish I had a Genesis though.
There's some.
I said I wish I saw a Genesis.
I have a Dreamcast.
I still have my Genesis,
Super Nintendo.
and I have a Sega Genesis Mini.
My Dreamcast needs to be cleaned up though, but I think it still works.
Ring, right next
What?
to Val. Val,
Yes.
you had a question of the week, I think.
Yes. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Not related to games. so much.
Different? Are you serious? We're doing something different?
So it had me kind of thinking with how my week has been. So, and I'm not too sure if this has been asked. If it is, I'm sorry. We'll figure something out if it has been.
Out with the girl.
So, what did you see yourself doing? Have you always seen yourself as a streamer doing this, or what did you want to do? What did you want to be growing up?
Damn.
Okay, no. All right. Let me explain why
How'd you get here?
Well, it's a little deep question there. So for me, I used to see myself cooking, as a chef. I wanted to cook. I love cooking, baking, and stuff like that. It's a great way of relaxing. I didn't see myself cleaning houses for a living. I'm really good at my job, but I hate it. But the reason why I never went into becoming a chef is I didn't want that joy that cooking and baking, brings me. I didn't want that taken away by having to make somebody food constantly every day as a living.
Keep it as a hobby and not have it tarnished as a job.
Yeah. And it's kind of a 2-point question. So, after, I guess, answering that, if you could go back in time, would you change anything? Do you think you would change anything to make your...
I would change everything.
Would you make... Yes, anyways.
Can I go first?
That was my question. I don't care who goes first.
I'll go first. So, growing up, what I wanted to be, as early as I can remember, this was one of the first things that I remember wanting to be, to the point that in elementary school I remember actually dressing up
was
as
it a
this.
space cowboy?
No.
Did you want to be a space cowboy? I think you did.
Some call me a space cowboy.
Cowboy Bebop?
Some
I love
call
Cowboy
me a
Bebop.
gangster of love.
You're farthest.
Some people call me Maurice. Woo woo.
What did
'Cause
you
I
want to
speak-
be?
All the pompous of love. And she took me
Yeah,
on.
I just watched that 70s show. I watched that episode
Anyway.
where they
Yeah.
were singing that song. Anyways.
I wanted to be a lawyer and eventually a judge growing up. I even dressed up as a lawyer. I took all my books and stuff instead of a backpack that day. I took them in a little suitcase, a little briefcase, and I dressed in elementary school. I dressed up as a lawyer for Halloween once, and I always wanted to be that. And on and through high school, I wanted to be that. The thing that kind of changed my mind, and in high school, I kind of started straying away from that and started getting into more computers and things like art and graphic design and stuff like that, is because in high school, I actually was... I joined the speech and debate team and eventually became the captain of the speech and debate team. And I realized that the people who are kind of going for that path in life are fucking assholes. It was a very, for fucking high schoolers, I would go every weekend. We'd have these tournaments and these meets, right? And I mean, I would win. I have racks full of trophies from high school, and I would win first, second place in speech and in debate and stuff like that. So I was pretty good at it. And Ams actually did it for a little while with me, but I just realized that the people that I was in league with, the people that I was competing against, and the people that were essentially had those same motivations were assholes. And Obs, you remember that one guy, right? Not to mention any names. That's essentially that's the archetype of that personality. And I was like, I do not want to be like this. But by that point, I started taking computer classes in high school, and that really started piquing my interest. I actually started learning about online. That's actually in high school is when I first started picking up things like graphic design, and even there was a period where I even got into Flash animation. I started doing that. I even tried to make a Flash cartoon, which I might actually insert that here. But anyway,
Are you talking about BGW?
not that Flash cartoon. No, that one I was not gonna bring up. And
Okay, I was thinking about that.
no, I'm not
Can
gonna.
you explain that to me a little bit, please?
VGW.
Yeah, it's brought up. You should explain it.
Obs brought it up. So
It was
Obs,
still brought up.
you bring it. You explain it, Obs. Then.
I won't go into details. Just it's nothing bad or anything like that. But it was just something goofy he made up in high school, and that I don't think it's survived his.
Oh, it
Computer
survived.
just-
I have it still. It has survived. I've maintained it. As a matter of fact, didn't I link it to you not that long ago?
I don't know, but yeah, it was just something dumb he did in high school.
It-
It was just when he was first starting to learn Flash.
Yeah, and one of our mutual friends was the central character of that. But no, there was another little Flash cartoon that I made. It was just these little egg-shaped characters. But I never really pursued that. However, I stuck with Photoshop, and I still do that to this day. But yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer, but that all really started to change in high school when I realized, man, the people who are like pursuing the same type of career, they're all assholes. They're vain, arrogant, just people, and they made it a point to put others down, to look down upon other people. That's the kind of caliber of person that seemed to be interested in that, and now I was like, this is not what I want. So I kind of started leaning more towards like arts and computers and stuff like that. And as of this point in time, me and Obs are both working for a company that's a subsidiary of Disney. That narrows it down, right? But we're doing like customer service, but it's my hope that in the job that I'm in, that maybe I'll get noticed and then eventually work my way up through some sort of
Notice me,
design.
senpai.
Yeah, some sort of graphical design position. But yeah, growing up, I always wanted to be a lawyer, and that changed like around high school. I would definitely change a lot of things going back in history and back in time if I could. You asked if I could change things. I would have definitely stayed in school. For one, I had to drop out of school because I had a few family tragedies. Things kind of went awry, but I would definitely have stayed in school if I could. A lot of things that I would change, but I mean, here I am. So that's my answer. Who wants to go next? Well, don't all rush at once.
I guess I'll go. I don't know. For me, it was probably something in gaming, music. I don't know. It's kind of hopped around a little bit. I played guitar for a little bit. Still not really, but I played guitar in high school and did that for a little bit. Wasn't sure if to do anything with that. Similar to the gaming, doing not necessarily game development, but something with gaming. Especially now, since like e-gaming is like a thing, and you get scholarships and all that now. But that wasn't a thing when we were in high school. I did culinary for a little bit. Took that in high school. I thought that was fun. Learning to make pizza. I thought briefly it would have been cool to have some type of like pizza shop of my own. But I don't know. It's kind of hopped around. It's kind of life happened for a little bit, and I went to school for a little bit as well. And I was going for business, going for like some type of business management. But to do things different, I don't know. Like it's kind of similar to us. Was probably maybe to stay in school for a little bit longer, or stay in school in general. But from what I've accomplished so far and what I've done in the past, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, and I think that would be just the one thing that's kind of changed would be just stay in school. Definitely that. So I think that's my 2 cents on this topic.
Nick, Ring.
Hmm.
Nick.
My youth is fleeting, but it's still here. So,
We're not old men either,
never,
Nick.
I mean,
We're really not that old.
yeah, sure, yeah,
Oh, I remember
Walker, sir.
with Nicholas Zombie when I think is one of his younger birthdays when he was maybe just hitting double digits, and he was like, "I'm old." It's like, what the hell are you talking about? So,
What happened to my once useful looks?
I remember him when he was a little kid.
I was just a wee lad. Anyway, I never had a goal to be anything when I was in high school or middle school or any of that. And I was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "No,
Just live to the age of 25.
yeah, and I've done that, and you know, I can go now. Bye, everybody. But no, I mean, all I really gave a shit about was somewhat decent at was some art. You know, did art classes, made paintings. It's fun. Did some school for graphic design too. I'm gonna try to see if I can do with that right now, honestly. And I don't know. I'm still doing schooling. I might do some history because I like history. I don't know what the fuck you might do with that. Become a teacher? Who knows?
you on the History
I
Channel?
don't know. I can join the history channel. I do like history though. History is my favorite subject because history is nothing but storytelling.
History is great.
I love storytelling. It's just I think it's like the baseline human other than eat fucking shit is like we tell stories.
Why haven't you read my fan fiction?
I'm not reading your weird gay fanfiction.
Whoa, god damn it! Son of a if you read it, you'll find that there's nothing.
Sure.
Dude,
I'm sure.
God.
I'm in the middle. I didn't interrupt you. Anyway. But yeah, so I might see what I can do with that or with graphic design. Like I said,
Read my shit.
Why would
Where's
you
the
read
link?
anybody's shit? That's disgusting.
right? I'm not a shit reader. I can't read the cars through shit. But anyway, so me, I don't know. I would also like to maybe do some graphic design stuff, but I don't want to just be that, you know, marketing. Do some marketing. Maybe some kind of business in that kind of sense. I don't know what I want.
So Toys R Us
I-
kid.
Yeah, I just want more. I know that.
I want more. What is that
Yeah.
from? Dick Tracy.
But yeah,
Prune Trace.
so that's what my suggestion is. Or my answer is, I'm sorry.
I'm Dick Tracy. Take that, Prune Face. No, I'm Prune Face. Take that, Dick Tracy. No, I'm Prune Tracy. Take
What
that.
the fuck is that? The Simpsons, right?
Yes.
You
Prune
remember?
Tracy.
No, I'm Prune Tracy. Take that,
Yeah.
Dick.
Dick face?
Dick. Yeah, exactly. You don't remember that joke? Obs obviously does.
I do.
It was evil Ned Flanders when he was a kid.
It was a
He was
great-
Yeah. That is little shit.
Now you will be
Okay.
good, Pinicio.
Is it so funny?
And don't you lie. Anyway, ring.
Ring.
I'm not sure.
If you don't want to answer, no worries.
We can do a pass.
Yeah.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
That's fine.
In my head canon, Ring wanted to be a dancer.
Yes.
And I like
A
that.
tap dancer with a sparkly outfit.
He would be a beautiful, sparkly outfit dancer, tap dancer.
They would
whatever
have
you
called
just
him the Liberace of the 21st century.
said. They would really have called him Friday.
Anyway.
So I don't.
Uh-huh.
Just to answer the second part, I wouldn't have changed anything. I think the only thing I would have changed is just managing my time better. Like, right now I'm going into school and I still feel like I'm old. Like, I'm 31. 31, yes. I'm 31. And I feel like maybe if
You are not old enough to start forgetting your age.
I got that mom brain. But I feel like I'm old not too old for school. I mean, because there's older people out there going to school. But I feel like if I managed my time better and actually sat down and, I guess, not rush into going to school instead of like rushing into the medical assisting, because I didn't go anywhere with that. A whole year gone down the drain. But I guess time management would probably be better, and just I think my life would have probably been more organized. I feel like I live in a world of chaoticness. But I had never thought of myself as a gamer or like being here, like streaming, which I'm glad that I was invited to do this with y'all, because it has changed my views on a lot of things when it comes to games. Like I used
Life-changing
to,
experience.
well, it's a form of stress relief. I laugh more with y'all than I do in general, I guess.
Is
I
that
know,
all we are
but
to you? You're using us?
no, I just have a good time. You guys know how to have a good time,
Oh, we know
even
how
if
to
it
have
is
a good time.
busting your balls, Mr.
What's going
Pony
on,
Man.
Rasp over here?
Wow.
I know. Show pony.
Busting my balls, Pony Man? Did I hear you right? Pony Man?
Sure, if that's what you heard.
Say go, pony boy.
I was still telling you guys, you need to listen to that there is a song that,
I'm
I'm so
not
horny.
listening to something.
Yeah,
that's
don't-
not
we're not.
pony.
We go far away from that. Let's move forward,
Far.
not backward,
Upward.
and always twirling,
Not forward.
twirling towards tomorrow.
Towards freedom.
I don't fucking know. It's a good show though.
Anyway, we are
Excuse
approaching,
me.
or actually I should say we have pretty much passed the 1 hour mark. Anybody else have anything to contribute, anything to add, anything to exposit, anything to ruminate on, percolate on, anything that you want to bring up, any shit that you want to shoot?
I made a
Yeah,
wrestling game Animal Crossing. I'm sorry, Ring. Go ahead.
Nah, I got something to say about. I can wait for you.
No, we'll go. My Animal Crossing will take a long time.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, mate, shit to shoot Saturday, great again. Keep the time under 45 minutes. That is my resolution.
What an excellent idea. Now, here's a 2-hour explanation about my island. Anyway,
I haven't played in a
Muffy
week.
just fucking moved in. She's this weird little golf sheep. Fucking great. Got rid of that stupid horse. I'm so happy about that.
Hey, I propose that you have your own like Nick's Crossing
No.
corner or something where you can just talk all you want
I'm
about all
trying
your
to do
little
it. I'm trying to do that
like
right now.
your own separate little where all your little fluffy bunnies and duckies and all that can play
There's
and
no
hang out.
ducks on my
Whatever the-
fucking island,
I have a
man.
duck. I have a duck.
You have a duck?
Do
Oh
you
yeah,
have
I
yeah.
do.
Do you have say this ducks? Do you have say this the patos? Yes,
No,
I
not
Yes.
like ducks.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
Get
yes,
'em.
you fucking do.
Get 'em.
These are the exception. Fuck geese. These are
Fuck
fucking
geese.
cancer on this
Oh, yeah,
fucking
geese
planet.
are
Them.
monsters.
Blow him up.
All of these kind must be serving for the
further.
greater good of humanity as well as that of that kind.
Geese
Fuck
are
the geese.
monsters.
They are horrible fucking devils.
Odds and ends gamings denounces geese.
And roosters. We
odds.
denounce roosters too.
Odds and ends.
Fuck
Not,
That's
those.
right.
Not
Denounce those
obstinate.
fucking cocks.
not obs and ends.
But obs and ends.
Odds.
Obs and friends.
It's not odds and friends. What the fuck?
Obs and friends.
I like
We're
that
all watching
one.
Obs and friends.
What the?
New channel name.
If
Sorry
any,
guys, we're no longer odds and ends gaming. We're now obs and friends gaming.
if anything,
Rebrand.
this is the
Rebrand to
Esp
it.
and Friends hour.
It doesn't sound as good.
Nope. Obs is better.
Obs
Obs,
and
and
friends.
friends.
This goes off the
Obs
tongue.
and Friends 2020. We need.
Oh, okay. So, which one of y'all's gonna make the logo and the intro and all of the materials?
I'll do
I'm
it.
dead.
I'm
Crack
gonna
at it.
Nick
You shut up.
Henry.
We can all do it. We'll all pitch in.
I'll be your support. Y'all can do the rest.
I really am quitting this time. I'm fucking. I will walk out the proverbial door.
So this is your 400th notice of quitting?
I'll do it this time. I'll do it this time. This is like this is real now.
So you're going to HR and it's like they just have a pile of your 2 weeks notices.
I'll do it.
Settle down.
He doesn't even hardly talk. Why? What is it? He's...
You know, he doesn't talk, but when he does, quality.
It's
Yeah.
important.
Quality over quantity.
He's not wrong.
Wow. Such profound words. Like, poetic. Prophetic, even.
Yeah, it brings a tear to my eyes. That's so moving.
Thank you.
I quit.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. This has been another episode of Obs and Friends.
Odds
Shoot
and
the
Ends
shit.
Gaming! Shoot the shit Saturday.
Don't
This has been
settle
another
down.
Which it was his
Thanks for joining
idea.
us.
Clickety clackety, clickety clackety.
This channel was Obs' idea?
No. The Shoot the Shit Saturday was his idea.
Oh.
Fallback Friday was my idea, though.
And how long have we been doing Shoot the Shit? It's been over a year now,
About a
right?
year now, yeah. It started in May of last year. Hey, we should have had
Yeah.
an anniversary episode.
We should have.
We should have done a live.
Do it
Too
now.
late now.
Never
should've-
too late.
So many honey!
So many
So
honey.
many honey.
So many, honey.
That's my boy.
Alright.
But anyway, it's been another episode, everyone.
Of Odds and
Maybe
Ends
we'll do a
Gaming,
live
Shoot
streaming.
the Shit.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Man, I wish I had a decent computer to edit this. I would edit this and just like slap over OBS over S. Like a big sticker. Anyway. This has been another episode. We've been joined by Ring, Lita,
Yeah.
Obsolete 2003,
Yo.
Valkyrie Grinder,
Yum, honey.
Wow.
Espionage DB7.
That's right, the star of the show, the one and
No, you're
only
not.
rocket blaster,
Nope, no,
longer
no,
lasting,
no,
ass
no,
beat,
no,
never
no.
cheat, flag taking, explosion making, flame throwing, score drawing, grenade flinging, formerly hot pigging, trash talking, shotgun cocking, death bringing, crowbar swinging, headshot, whether you like it or not, the one and only Espionage DB7.
Alright, so I had no idea what any of that was. And I've been Nick Zombie, Nicholas Zombie, whatever you like to say. Good night, everybody!
Don't settle down.